So I'll start off just briefly by recapping a little bit of what has occurred. After being unable to reach the woman who lives inside that home on Oxford Way, a family member entered the garage of the home and inside found the 17-year-old son of the family who lives there in that home, and he had suffered a gunshot wound. The police were called at that time, and when we arrived, we encountered that 17-year-old, and then we entered the home where we discovered the bodies of the remaining 5 members of the family who lived inside that home. We're not releasing the names of the family members at this time. It is our process to make proper notification to next of kin before we release the names of victims. And we do understand, though, that some of you already have gained access to those names, and we ask you to please respect the family and allow them the opportunity to properly notify all of the family members that they'd like to notify. So the bodies inside of the house, as you'll recall, were the 42-year-old father of the family, the 38-year-old mother of the family, an 11-year-old son, a 2-year-old daughter, and a 9-year-old daughter. All of the victims appeared to have suffered gunshot wounds. Autopsies will confirm the exact cause of death. The bodies of the mother and the 2 daughters were located in the bedroom on the upper level of the home. The bodies of the father and the 11-year-old son were located in the living room of the home. And a small handgun was found underneath the body of the father. We believe this was the weapon used in the shootings. However, ballistic and forensic analysis will determine that definitively. That is our initial determination, is that the father likely shot all of the members of the family and then himself. However, we do need to wait for confirmation from ballistics evidence and also from forensics evidence to be able to determine that definitively.
When was the last time you received
The last confirmed, I believe, is Friday night, Saturday morning, sometime into maybe the early hours of Saturday morning.
what's the current condition of
The 17-year-old is in critical condition.
And do you think the shot will survive somehow for 3 or 4
Yes.
days?
Yes. No, so the 17-year-old suffered a severe brain injury. He was shot through the head, and he is not in a condition where we're able to speak to him. He's not communicative at all at this point.
Do you believe he was shot in the garage and somehow he made his way to the garage?
We believe that he made his way to the garage. We do not believe he was shot in the garage. We believe that it happened sometime over the weekend, and we're going to need more information that will come likely from the autopsy to be able to let us know a better timeline, but we do believe it happened sometime over the weekend. Excuse me? Yes, correct.
So based on the evidence you have so far, you found no note or anything that indicated why, and there's no history of domestic violence?
No, there's no history of domestic violence. There was no sort of a note, and we really have no motive. We understand how frustrating it is for an incident of this magnitude to happen and to not understand why. We know people want to know why. We want to know why. But the truth is we may never know. We don't have any information as to why this happened, and we have no history with this family.
What about the family member that initially discovered the 17-year-old? Has she been able to provide any information what might be behind this?
We have been able to speak with this family member, but we still have no information as to why this might have occurred. There was one welfare check that occurred. So the night prior to us entering the home and finding the bodies, the family member had asked for assistance on a welfare check. She had not been able to reach this family member who lives inside the home and was growing concerned. So she contacted us. We went out to the house and we looked in the windows, couldn't see anything inside, talked to the neighbors. They said that they hadn't seen the family, but that was not unusual that they hadn't seen them. And so we, at that time, communicated with the family member that if her concerns should continue, to please stay in contact with us and keep us posted as to how that was going.
Could she say any more about why she's concerned? I mean, why did you think they're just out of town or something like that?
Because she said that she's in regular communication with this family member, and that communication had stopped.
Did anyone in the neighborhood hear gunshots?
We had no reports of gunshots from anyone. When we canvassed the area, no one said that they had heard any kind of gunshots, and no one called police to report any gunshots.
Were you aware of any family members expressing to other family or friends concern for their well-being or their lives, expressing feeling like they're in danger?
We're not aware of anything of that nature.
Were there any calls to this home prior to this incident?
We don't have a history with this home. I believe the only call that we have from this home is from some time ago where they were reporting a loud party down the street. So nothing that involves this home directly. Sorry?
How long they've lived
I
there?
don't know.
Did you already mention how many one shots were found in the house?
No, we're not going to get into the nature of their injuries other than I think it provides some clarity to let you know that the 17-year-old suffered a severe brain injury. You know, we've had questions about why he didn't reach out to police or why he didn't do certain things, but I think that it's important to know that he suffered a severe brain injury. So that I think clarifies a lot.
Did the 17-year-old live there? Because neighbors are telling us they don't recognize him or rarely see him.
As far as I know, yes, he lived there.
Can you tell us more about the welfare check, the police side of things? Because you guys did a buffer check on Monday, but you're saying it's likely those people had died over the weekend. What are they looking for that they didn't see on Monday?
So, in order to be able to enter a home without a warrant, you're going to have proof that some sort of an exigent circumstance exists. So, we would need to have some sort of evidence that someone was in danger, there was some sort of an emergency, there was some sort of a crime, and without that sort of evidence, it's a constitutional protection that we can't just go in and enter people's homes. So when they looked in the windows, they talked to the neighbors, all of those sorts of things, none of that provided any sort of evidence that would be enough for us to enter a home without a warrant.
Did police tell the family member who was concerned to hold off, stay out of their space for a little bit, or?
No.
Are you able to say whether the 17-year-old was enrolled in a local high school?
I don't know. The local schools would be under Granite School District, so you'd want to contact them to find out any information about where they went to school. I don't know.
So other than the autopsy, what more do you have to do? What is the investigation?
So the autopsy will be one portion of it. There will be ballistics testing that will occur. There will also be forensic analysis that's done. So the weapon that was found, we need to take a closer look at who might have fired that. Is that do the ballistics match up with the casings in the home? That sort of thing. So, there are a number of steps that will need to be completed, and those are things that take time. But our commitment is to doing the most thorough job possible, however long that takes.
So you go through all the electronics, see if there's any search histories or
Right, right, and evidence. The process of evidence gathering started immediately. Started gathering evidence throughout the neighborhood, looking at doorbell cameras, canvassing the neighborhood to talk to people, talking to family members, and all of that sort of thing. So, if there is a stone that needs to be turned, you can trust that our detectives will turn it.
Did neighbors hear any gunshots?
There's no report of neighbors hearing gunshots. We didn't receive any calls of that nature. And when we canvassed the neighborhood, no one said that they had heard gunshots.
Reiterating a little bit what you touched on last night, but we're a week away from Christmas, and now we have the father who possibly killed his family. Just tell us, people are feeling so many different ways. It's a tragic situation.
Yeah.
What's the message from police to the greater community?
A tragedy of this magnitude, I think, is hard to comprehend for anyone, and it's certainly hard for folks in our police department to comprehend. It's certainly hard for our city officials to comprehend, and it's certainly hard for our community to comprehend. But if there's one thing that I know about West Valley City is that this is a community that stands together. This is a community that works together. And so my expectation would be that just as West Valley City folks do, that they will rally around and that they'll support the folks who are left grieving from this tragic circumstance.
Has West Valley seen anything like this before? I know you
No,
shared some data.
no. I mean, no, nothing like this.
Were curtains drawn when you all did the welfare check? Was it hard to see inside?
I know that officers looked into the windows. I don't know what they were able to see, and I don't know the status of the curtains.
You just think about that family member. When something happens like this, did she do the right thing? Do you have to keep going back and loving on these loved ones of yours?
These sorts of circumstances are difficult because adults have the right to do what they would like to do, and they don't have to tell their family members what they're doing. So, that's not an unlikely situation where sometimes an adult might want to do something and they don't need to report it to their family members, which could cause concern for a family member. So it is a very difficult circumstance, and I have no reason to criticize in any way that this family member handled things. I'm certain she was just doing the best that she could, just like any of us would. I don't know. Again, I'll just point out that the 2-year-old child, the 2-year-old little girl, the 9-year-old little girl, and the mother were all in the same bed. And the 11-year-old and the father were both in the living room of the home. It's our understanding that the bedroom of the 17-year-old is in a downstairs area. Of course, he wasn't in that bedroom. We found him in the garage. I don't know. And this is one of the difficult parts where we want answers. We want to understand everything, but being able to understand it and understand it correctly is going to take time.